Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning to everyone. I am Zaina Zaharah Mama Arif, your moderator for today's segment. Today's segment is a knowledge sharing session from FIM Studio, organized by the Faculty of Information Management Corporate Communication Unit. The title for today's session is Small and Rural Libraries Supporting Community Development. As all of us know, the new norm had brought us together to share and discuss various knowledge and issues through online platforms, which I believe could reach a much more bigger audience. It is hoped that this will benefit not only the faculty members, but also everyone in the information community. Through this segment, we can share together ideas and experiences from academicians regarding current and latest issues in the field of information. For your information, the FIM Studio program is a session for sharing knowledge not only within the faculty's member and students, but to all relevant parties that are interested in our field of study. The objective of this program is knowledge sharing and discussion. Before we start this program, which I broadcast live through our official Facebook and YouTube, I would like to stress that this session is solely for the purpose of knowledge sharing. Views expressed by the panel are his or her own and does not necessarily reflect UiTM official policy or view. UiTM is not responsible for any comments or opinions issued or presented. We are really honored to have Associate Professor Dr. Rozia Abu as our speaker for today's session. Before we start, I would like to introduce a little bit of background about Associate Professor Dr. Rozia Abu. Associate Professor Dr. Rozia Abu works as a senior lecturer at the Fakulti of Information Management, University Technology Mara, UiTM Puncak Perdana campus. Her research interest is in the field of information management, rural library, library management, and community development. The field of her lectures currently assigned are library management, public relation in information works, legal and ethical aspect of information systems, information technology in library and information center, research methods in information sciences, information systems interaction and consultation, communication skill for information professional, and promotion of information products and services. From 2004 to 2020, she received 15 research grants. Dr. Rozia Abu also has experience in consultancy from 2013 to 2019 with overall of 6 consultancy programs which are focusing on the services of rural libraries to the community. Her experience in writing articles in journals and selected publications since 2005 until 2019 is as much as 31 scholarly writings, and on average, this writing focuses on the field of rural public library, community literacy, and information ethics. Dr. Rozia Abu active in presenting academic paper at academic sessions as well as seminars and scientific conferences. She also has been appointed as a keynote speaker in several international conferences. Her expertise in this academic field is increasingly highlighted with the contribution of her knowledge and experience as a research reviewer. And last but not least, Dr. Rozia Abu received few selected innovation competition awards from the government, organizations, and even other institutions. Such a distinguished achievement. A bit brief introduction to this topic. As gateways to knowledge and culture, libraries have always played a fundamental role in society. The resources and services they offer create opportunities for learning, supporting literacy and education. It also helps to shape new ideas and perspectives that are central to a creative and innovative society. Hence, small and rural library to act as information centers, they play a significant role in the social economic development of rural areas and advantaged group of society by providing information and communication services. In today's topic, Dr. Rozia will elaborate further How significant is small and rural library in empowering and supporting small and rural community? Without further ado, I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Rosia Abu to convey her sharing. Please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. A very warm afternoon to everyone. And thank you so much to Zaina for that brief introduction. And I would like to thank the Faculty of Information Management for giving me this opportunity to actually share my passion in terms of this particular topic. Now, before that, my name is Rosia, like I introduced before, and currently I'm one of the academic staff members in the Faculty of Information, but I'm also engaged in as a head of a unit data alumni in UiTM in my university. So without without any further ado, let me just go straight into the topic that we've decided to discuss upon today. So, all right, the topic that I've chosen to share today is on the small and rural libraries and how it supports community development. Now, small and rural library and community itself goes hand in hand in any form of development of society, of nationhood, and many more. But when it comes to community itself, library becomes the cornerstone of any society engagement, participation, and empowerment. But before we go further into describing and explaining the description, the characteristic of small and rural libraries, I guess the first key concept that I need to explain and let us all explore is the concept of community development or development of society. Now, in general, the concept of development consists of basically the four elements, that is economical, political, social, and cultural aspect of society and nationhood. However, the rapid expansion of knowledge and technology has creates complexity to determine which factors are truly affected in any society development. We cannot determine whether it is only economical, it's only political, or it's only social or cultural aspect. But in general, it comes together. But due to this expansion, due to this blast growth of society and community, apparently, in the modern definition of development, there's additional factors that has been considered as also factors that would affect community development and society development. According to Zahidi 2013, hygienic, medical, health, hygienic, literacy, education, empowerment, and engagement will add into the concept and it leads to a broader concept of development. But however, no matter how broad it is, all these elements are unified into one concept. So development itself refers to the gradual human growth towards the advancement and empowerment of society. So in general, again, development is all about action, action that leads society towards an organized system of individuals and collective living condition, this which are related to the desirable values of that particular society. So this is development. So in the 21st century, all nation worldwide, all government worldwide has recognized the need for information use and literacy as means of development. It seems that everybody is realizing that information needs and information use and information literacy becomes the common aspect that help and boost society and community development. And the role of and the role of librarian and information specialists become crucial. Only with the cooperation and assistance of these so-called librarians and information experts, the basic of any movement to gain well-informed and developed society will be produced and will be achieved. Therefore, librarian and information experts plays an important role. Only by this cooperation and provision of useful information, therefore, economic, cultural, social, and political context development becomes possible. So in bottom line is information is a crucial factor in national development. And the ability of its society to use information tools is considered as a source of power. So therefore, we come into the key factors, libraries. Now, libraries is a gateway to knowledge. It's not just gateway to knowledge, it's also to culture. Libraries plays a fundamental roles in society in offering resources, service. They actually create opportunity of learning. It supports literacy and education and help shapes the new ideas and perspective that are central to the creativity and innovativeness of society. We can say that as the liberation of ideas and innovation. So this is what library is all about. Libraries are community hubs. In addition to connecting people to information, library also connects people to people. They for certain group of people, library are the safe havens for them. Like for example, for kids, when school is not in session, libraries offers after school homeworks, help with games, clubs, and anything that is beyond imagination. So this is what I meant when I say liberation of ideas and imagination. And this is what library are offering to its society. Now, before we go into the in depth into what is small and rural library, the standard understanding and the definition of library are mainly covering five types of library. We are commonly introduced and we are commonly being told that these are the five standard libraries that is available around the world. The one is national libraries. Uh, and then next we have public libraries, we have academic libraries, special libraries, and in fact, school libraries. Now, these libraries are unique in terms of its role towards its specific users. And the types of users are different from one type of library to another. Like, for example, National Library. National Library runs as a national archive. It actually covers all collection that covers the national culture, the nationhood of the society, of the nation or the country as general. Meanwhile, public libraries serve all types of community and users around the country or around the states. And then there's also academic library. Now, academic libraries are special in terms of its users and the collection, where it is specific to certain types of institution, certain types of university or colleges. And meanwhile, we also have special libraries and school libraries that again focus on specific type of users that does not cover all community that is outside that institution. Like the one that I'm sharing with you, this one is an academic library that is located in Johns Hopkins University, Baltimore. Now, exquisite. Most of the time, when we talk about library, the imagine of having a library physically is exquisite. You know, the building is impressive. The image of library comes in line with the concept, the layout, and the blueprint of the library. However, it's not the same with small and rural library. So what is small and rural libraries? Now, the one that I'm showing to you is considered a type of small libraries. Now, this library is called Library Cikgu. It was it is currently managed and organized by an individual who is actually a retired teacher in a village called Desa Impian, Kampung Merbau Sempak in Sungai Buloh, Selangor. So, as you can see from the picture, small libraries do not have exquisite building. They don't have um, They don't have an imaginative concept of blueprint of building. It is basically anywhere and everywhere. So this is small libraries all about. So to go deeper into what is small and rural libraries, I guess the first thing I need to explain to you is the concept of rural like community and disadvantaged community. Now, rural community, in reference to UNESCO definition, it refers to the group of people who geographically living together outside urban areas. So in Malaysia and like most countries around the world, we do actually acknowledge that definition, and we put it in line with our online definition. Except for Malaysia, we include there that rural community refers to those group of people who are outside urban area and including settlement with population that less than 10,000 people. So this is rural communities all about. So rural community refers to the characteristic of people, group of people that living together have a common characteristic, and they live in one specific area. All right, and they can be classified as rural based on such criteria: low population density, meaning they actually live separate apart, maybe less social differentiation, less social and spatial mobility, and also slow rate of social change. Now, just as an additional information here, in Malaysia, there are about 26,400 villages that is dispersed across Malaysia, and 3.1 million rural community members living in the 46 remote district in Peninsular Malaysia and Sabah Sarawak. So it is it is fact to say that in Malaysia itself, in Malaysia, rural community are still at large. The number of people who are actually categorized as rural in the community, it's still in a big number. So in Malaysia itself, rural community stands as an entity in an aspect of community as a whole. Now, what is this advantage community? Now, this advantage community refers to more than just disadvantagement of low income or high level of unemployment. In fact, disadvantaged community denotes the complex cluster of people living in certain areas that have difficulties in achieving positive outcome. All right. So these group of people are normally complex clusters of society. They struggles, they work hard to improve themselves, but still they are living in such a situation and environment that are hard, right? That are difficult. So they are mostly group of people that are affected by social and environmental context, such as having a low level of education. Most of them are homeless, poor, uh, in terms of living in poverty. Some might be uh, uh, abusive in terms of alcohol and drugs. And most importantly, disadvantaged community refers to people who are lacked of opportunity to improve their life outcomes. Now, so small and rural libraries, therefore, refers to information resource center that plays a significant role in social economic development of these disadvantaged and rural area community by providing information and communication services to them. Now, that's why I do not put together small and rural libraries, because if you look into the explanation that I've given before, um, disadvantaged community can be found not just in rural area. We can also find this disadvantaged community among among the cities, urban group of people. So that's why small and rural libraries are, are same in characteristic, but differ in terms of the approach of its community. Now, I'm going to share with you some, some image of libraries, small libraries and rural libraries that is beyond um, government administration. Like for example, the one that I'm showing you now is the first one is the small library of the Kurau community in Bangsa, Kuala Lumpur. And we have one little giraffe library in Cheras, Kuala Lumpur. Now look at this. Now, around the world, we do have rural library that is supported by the government, fully funded. The financial budget was given by the government. But the one that I'm showing you now is private, privately owned, and sometimes it's owned by the community, right? So the one that I'm showing you, this is owned by a community group of residents in Bangsa and Ichiras. And look at the layout. Nothing impressive about it. It is more into what the user or that small community wants and the information that those community needs. It focuses only on the community. Now look at this. This is rural libraries, a type of rural libraries that is provided again, right, um, with the cooperation between the community, all right, and the local government. So the one on the left here is Rural Mini Library in Kampung Sapit, Sarawak. All right, just a small mini library that serve books, reading materials, and information reports, about what the government is doing, what are the available info for job opportunities for them. So these are the example of small rural libraries that is managed, organized, all right, and administered by local people. Now, we also have Perpustakaan Desa Perkampungan Orang Asli Desa Temuan, right? And we also have Village Library in Endah, Selangor. Now, the thing is, what do small and rural libraries support community development with? How? How? This is the question. How small and rural libraries support community development? Now, there are several factors, and there are several ways of how small and rural libraries support its own community. But I'm just going to share three for today, right? So the first one is small and rural libraries serves as community social catalysts. Now, when we say social catalyst, yeah, we are referring to the concept of small and rural library supporting social mission. Now, small and rural library have a social mission, and they are very devoted to the development of its specific community. Now, they are focused very much in terms of developing individual growth, right? Like for example, motivates and stimulate personal mindset and self-development. Now, the collection, the material, in fact, most importantly, the programs and activities that is provided by these small and rural libraries are very much focused to the needs and the wants and the requirements of its society, its group of people. It support itself, its community, individual self-development. Like for example, in Malaysia, we do have rural libraries that supports in terms of assisting children understanding their school homework, their school syllabus. Now, small and rural libraries service their individual group society members beyond classroom, beyond classroom. We do not serve things that being served in a classroom, in teachers. We are not teachers. Librarian and information experts are not teachers, but we're here to liberate young minds and and help them to develop self-development, to motivate them, and giving them the answers that they need in a real global challenging world. not for examination purpose. Now, in terms of social characters, small and rural libraries um, support behavioral thinking of children. So, as you can see in the picture here that I shared, this is a small library. All right, this is a small library which is managed by numbers of volunteers, young volunteers in Chokit, Kuala Lumpur, and it focuses on helping this disadvantaged group of young minds in area of Chowkit, Kuala Lumpur. Now, this Buku Jalanan Chowkit Kuala Lumpur Library serve in terms of giving this young mind the identity, the cultural thinking that they need to improve themselves personally. So this is what social catalyst is all about, giving individual the support to have personal growth within themselves, and how to share their understanding within their cliques, within their peers, in that particular group of society. Now, it is very important to understand that for disadvantaged people, for disadvantaged group of people, having the understanding of self-esteem, self-motivation, the understanding of patriotism and nationhood. So these are all social catalysts um, role in helping this disadvantaged group of people. All right. So as you can see in this Buku Jalanan Chokit Kuala Lumpur group, they focus on volunteerism and communal work, where they support the young minds, self-esteem, collectively help them to boost their self-confidence. Now, the second one is small and rural libraries as community builders. Now, ladies and gentlemen, local supporting locals. So this is the idea of community builders. Now, small and rural libraries stand as cornerstone of healthy and strong community. It provides a sense of place for gathering, engaging, and participating. It gives people the opportunity to explore independently, to explore new ideas, and to be lost in their deliberation of ideas and imagination through the material resources that they give, that they share in these libraries. And of course, the activities will allow them to explore opportunities, and for this advantaged group of peoples, these kind of services will help them to break from the circle of poverty. Small and rural libraries provide those in need with helpful information about opportunities and connect them with their new communities. Like for example, um, those immigrants or newcomers within that particular group. And then we have local small businesses like SME entrepreneurs, home business owners. They to get more information and to create local network in terms of promoting their businesses. So these are the use of libraries, not so standard kind of library that you find in academic library, public library, national library, and school libraries, right? So small and rural libraries are unique in terms of their approach to their community and their community members. It's unique because it's more on personal rather than generic. Like if you were to go to public library that is supported by the government, the material are very much generic, where all public libraries will receive it and will have it. But when it comes to small and rural libraries, the material and the activities are unique. Unique because the aim of small and rural libraries is to support its community, not to just become literate, but to become progressful, to become empowered, and to become a participating and engaging society members. So this is what rural library means by community builders. And then we help in terms of making wise decision in your daily life activities, in your daily life decision making. You know, so rural libraries, like I said before, it's on social catalysm, and we are also community builders. And we do not stop there. We provide an ongoing learning process. Now, we've been in school since primary school. I mean, kindergarten, goes to school, primary schools, high school, university. It's all about examination. It's all about assessment. You know, you have to have, you have to have that. You have to have the certain amount CGPA. It is very stressful. You know, but rural library and small library do not dictate that kind of assessment. We basically provide anything that you need to help society and the community members to develop skills, the skills that they need to survive and strive in a global information society. We do not dictate how many percent, how many A's you should get. You have to pass this examination. No, libraries do not do that. We are very much into developing skills so that people can live and prosper. And what are the skills that small and rural library brings to its community? Of course, the most important one is information literacy. Information science student will very much know this is library 101. It is all about being able to to be able to identify the information, to find the correct information, be wise about it, knows how to evaluate the information, apply it, and acknowledge the source of information. So this is information management, information science 101. So again, we give this kind of skill, ability, so that the individual can stand on their own, to have the ability to recognize a proper, correct information that can use to support their life, you know, and to become better in the future. And not just information literacy, you know, we also offer a very interesting in terms of developing the skill of technological literacy. Now, almost all rural libraries, you know, have at least a partial information technology or technological system in their library. All right, and it is very important for this group of people who are considered in disadvantage or in a very remote area to know how to use information and technology. So this is literacy, information technology literacy is all about. And of course, finally, we do provide functional literacy, the essential skill for an individual personal and professional growth. Now, small and rural libraries provide a place for people to know themselves, you know, and of course, to get to know their community too. It is important for them to be able to uh, be a very dignified citizen. They have to be proud of themselves, to be part of the society and part of the member. So this is the place. So small and rural libraries support these most three common elements. We support social catalysts. We support community in building and developing. And we also support lifelong learning. All right. Now, however, okay, small and rural libraries also struggles. We struggles in terms of this pandemic. We struggles and we try very hard to achieve the best, right, service that we can offer to our society. And in March, 9th March 2021, our government have announced the reopening of library services in Malaysia. And with that, many of our small and rural libraries start opening and delivering services to our society. And though It's still social distancing with standard operation procedure. The material that we deliver becomes slightly changed than previously. Remember, I told you that we offer social catalysts, we offer community building, and we offer lifelong learning for our users before. Currently, what we offer are basically more into supporting community mental health. Yeah, sad to say, but most of this disadvantaged group of people and this rural group of people, they are more keen on finding support in terms of their mental health, because during pandemic there's a lot of things that happens that is beyond our imagination, and life becomes more difficult. Like I said before, you can have groups of disadvantaged people not in rural area but in city center, in urban area, not outskirt of the city center. So it seems that information in terms of mental health, motivation books, um, program that will give them joy, find small lights in this hardship of environment and era. So that becomes the core material that we deliver to our society nowadays. And the unemployment during the pandemic. Now, many small and rural libraries, many volunteers, librarian, information experts within this type of library becomes an individual that they refer to in terms of how to create resumes, what are job opportunities available, and how to overcome, as simple as handling online interviews, how to get online skills, how to impress your future um, employer through online discussion, and these are all the things that they are looking for during pandemic, and these are the struggle, because for small and rural libraries that focuses on small disadvantaged group of people, the dilemmas will cover very much depending on the budgeting, right? And the technological dilemmas. Of course, digital dilemma is there, because we have to provide some kind of technological platform, a stable one to them. But those platform can be provided through help of the public libraries. To these public rural libraries, most of our rural public libraries in Malaysia has this internet ICT platform that they can offer their societies and their group of community. But for small and rural libraries that stand alone, what they can provide is more on the information guide on mental health, the misinformation on COVID-19, how to prevent them from happening to you, and things like that. So small and rural libraries are now exploring other services, and our services becomes more personal and more engaging, right? And to name a few, overseas, like for example, in America, there's a lot of discussion in terms of what type of resources that are available, that are significant to be shared during this pandemic. And there's a lot of ma- um, brainstorming session done by these librarians and library experts into founding how library can work to support its local community and during this pandemic. Now, all libraries provide vital services to their communities, but library that serve small and rural population have the potential to go beyond providing information and access. They inject the vitality that will help the community to strive. And for those who say that small and rural library are outdated, small and rural library is something that is not relevant, think again, because small and rural library are here to stay. Well, I guess that would be my presentation for today. Uh, Back to you, Zaina.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Rosia, on a very thoughtful sharing. Now I open
Thank
to the
you.
audience to ask questions to our speaker. Okay, first question, Doctor. How would you describe the contribution that libraries can offer to rural communities?
All right. Personally, this is my personal view on what are the contribution that a library can give to its community. Now, like I stated before, rural and small library are unique in terms of its community. All right, and therefore, the rural community should serve more than just resources, collection, and borrowing books. Small and rural libraries has to go beyond that in terms of providing programs and activities, and it has to be somehow tally to the needs of the society. Now, there was I experienced a few visits in local rural library in Malaysia. Now, uh, most of the rural library engage with their community upon the request of the community. What sort of program do they want? What sort of material do they need? Right now, in Malaysia, we do have small village that focuses on agriculture, and there are also a group of society that focuses on non-agriculture based economy. Like for example, the fisherman's village, right? So with this group of people, the community will very much the library need to very much focus on the young minds, so the young minds will need some preparation in terms of setting grounds of being beyond just fishermen, so those kind of rural library were required to be more proactive in terms of providing activities to allow the children, the young minds, to believe and boost their self in esteem to go beyond being a fisherman, for example, right? So this is what rural library and small libraries all about, setting personal and individual growth in each and every society. That's why I said, Zaina, that all small and rural library are very unique because we are very much personalized in terms of our selection of programs and selection of activities. Now, if we were to go to public libraries, in public libraries, um, in public libraries we have campaigns, we have weekly campaigns, schedule campaigns, we have schedule activities. This is what I meant by a public rural library. But in rural and small libraries which engage uh, privately with its community, it goes beyond that, you know it goes beyond just a campaign. It's not just a campaign. Like for example, campaign membaca. It's not just campaign membaca anymore. We bring books to them, sit with them, all right, and read with them. So this is the one that I explained to you just now. Buku Jalanan. That's one association which is being introduced by a group of volunteers. It's called Buku Jalanan. And with Buku Jalanan, actually bring books to its users, right? So its community, to this group of people, and read with them, all right, and have fun explaining about it, and then have thorough discussion about how we can make use of those kind of books, you know, to support the individuals to provide growth and development personally. So I guess that would be my personal views of small and rural libraries. Oh yeah. Interestingly, I managed to visit a few rural libraries in Makassar, Indonesia. Yeah. Indonesia, yeah. I've been to University Muslim in Indonesia, Makassar. I have friends there that actually bring me along to visit the library. It's interesting. It's interesting because you see, in Africa, all right, in Africa, the rural library focuses on children, children education, and children development. If you go to Australia, the rural library and community library focuses on the adulthood, the seniors, sense of engagement will be more in depending in difference to uh, in Africa. But then in Indonesia, you will see that the library focuses more towards society as a whole, you know. But in Malaysia, again, we are focused more on children, but it doesn't matter. We are still part of the society. They are part of the society, and from one country to another, small and rural library um, engage their society, their group of people differently. All right. How about
Okay, thank
Zaina?
you.
How
Yeah.
about you, Zaina? When was the last time you go to the library?
I think before pandemic. Before
So,
pandemic. Yeah.
do you actually engage with digital collection that was introduced by our national library?
Yes, of course. Because
The
there's a lot.
you the U Pustaka, right? Have
You
you heard?
Pustaka. Yes, already been a member.
Oh, is it?
I'm a member, yes.
But in Malaysia, it's good that our national library actually not introduced. The U Pustaka is already there, but the
Mhm.
promotion of the U Pustaka with the 3.1 million new collection, digital collection, becomes very, very useful in this pandemic situation, right?
I see, yes. That's true, Rata.
So
Actually,
uh, I do have students who are actually use the U Pustaka digital collection excessively, for reading material. For
mhm,
and the collection is quite good, not
I
just
see.
good, more than that.
Mhm.
And for our library, in our public library and our rural public library, there are still services in terms of door to door, door to door.
Services.
Yes,
Okay, okay.
we do have that, right?
Hello?
Hello, yeah, Zaina. Sorry,
Okay. Okay,
the thing was like,
thank you for the sharing, Doctor.
yeah,
Okay,
thank you so much.
we have reached to the end of the segment. Ladies and gentlemen, rural libraries and information centers could play a significant role in the socio-economic development of rural areas by providing information and communication services to the rural community. So it offers an ever-changing range of cultural resources for the community, and they have become a type of social and cultural institution. Among the important factors of the existence of the rural public library are free public access to computer and information technologies resources, help people to locate information, thus creating better informed communities. They run programs that promote lifelong learning and literacy in the community and build connections between individuals, groups, and government. Alhamdulillah, that's the wrap of our session for today. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this knowledge sharing. Stay tuned for more knowledge sharing from FPM webinar series in the future. Till then, I'm Nur Zainal Zaharah Muhammad Arif, would like to wish everyone selamat berpuasa. Take care, stay safe, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.